On this episode, I'm super honored to be joined by the man, Slendy, better known as Harrison. How you going, bro?
I'm doing really well, Dom. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Awesome, bro. Thanks for being on. How's your week been? Tell us. You've been working heaps or doing music stuff, YouTube stuff?
Yeah, mate, it's been very busy at work, but also on the YouTube side, I've been working with Peter, one of the lads from Red Hot, on a new track. So hopefully have that coming up very soon to show you all. It should be a lot of fun.
How exciting. So is that going to be like a raw track? Because I know they're into the heavy stuff, hey?
Yeah, no, we've actually, for some reason, decided to make this track unnecessarily violent.
Yep.
So it's a bit of raw, a bit of core in there, lots of kick rolls, lots of screeches. So it should be a lot of fun.
Awesome, dude. Love it. So that's going to go from what, 155 BPM to the beyond or what? Like, tell us.
Well, we're not going to reach noise kick territory, but we are going to be sort of cranking it up a little bit into that sort of hardcore and up-tempo territory. So
awesome, dude.
It should be a lot of fun. And when I say a lot of fun, I mean unnecessarily violent. It's called Cracking Skulls. So
right.
Stay tuned.
All right, looking forward to this banger. Now, for everyone who doesn't know, Slendy here, your foundation's YouTube, right?
It is, yes. I've been making YouTube videos, I think now for just over 6 odd years.
Right.
Yeah.
So unlike some of the other guests that we've had on the show, you've been great with spreading the community through YouTube, Facebook, doing random weekly wubs videos, song reviews. Tell me a little bit about your origin story and how you got started, man. How did it all begin for you?
Yeah, for sure. Firstly, thanks. I appreciate the kind words. I do love making videos that celebrate our awesome scene. But I'm not sure how many people know this. I've spoken about it a little bit on my socials before, but the way that the channel started was actually to help me do a university assignment.
Oh, wow.
So back in my first year of uni, I had to write an article basically that was relevant to Sydney University, and I had an article teed up at the time with the Sydney FC coach. And then sadly that fell through. It was going to talk about players coming through the university system and then going on to play professionally.
What year was that? Sorry.
What year was that? That would have been sort of 2013 around that time.
Cool.
So a long time ago now. And I went, oh my God, I've got an assignment due and I have no story. So I decided to dress up as Slenderman and then run into my own lectures with a boombox so that I could write about myself with masked man kind of dances in university. So
that's brilliant.
It was just purely like, it never was intended to go anywhere. It was just a pure piss take. And it was literally just a way for me to like hand in an assignment and not fail.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, so after sort of like a week or so, I noticed that the videos that I had uploaded of me running around the university as Slenderman with a boombox had like 3,000 views, and I went, oh my God, for no subscribers, that was amazing.
That's big numbers.
Yeah, I was stoked. So I thought, I'll keep making these, and I guess the rest is history. So moved from the territory of just like dancing in public in various costumes and celebrating a couple of my fave tracks from back in the day, and then moving towards a couple of the skit comedy style videos that you would have seen over the past, and then towards your full-blown partying at DEF CON in the Netherlands, festival after movies, and crazy schizo crabs running around. So
that's funny.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Right. So tell me about the first time you were dressed up as Slendy and went to a festival. What was that experience like? Were you getting reactions left, right, and center, photos taken? Tell me.
So, to be honest, I kept the Slendy costume as more of the public raving element, and I didn't really tough it out in full Slenderman suit at many festivals. I think the one festival I did it at was maybe Bass Control 2013 or 14.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was a stinking hot day as well. I remember literally just dying in what was my actual suit jacket at the time. I didn't have a morph suit or anything.
Right.
So I just full on wore my normal suit.
Yeah.
And there was like a little bit of interest, I guess. A couple of photos taken. Some of the like diehard fans from back in the day recognized the actual Slenderman character. But the really heartwarming thing is that these days people are coming up to just me as a person and saying hello, having a dance, saying thank you, I really enjoy your content at festivals, and sometimes, funnily enough, even on like public transport. If you won't believe this, but like a random German man hugged me when I was in Berlin on the street, and I'm like, this is too much. I'm just literally just a normal person. But it's really nice to see that kind of reaction and the kind of impact it has on people in our scene and also across the world. It's really cool.
Absolutely, dude. Sounds like it'd be quite a fulfilling experience overall, hey?
Definitely. Well, that's honestly why I do it. I was chatting to you just before we went live, actually, and saying YouTube doesn't pay the bills. So you've got to find other ways to, like, obviously keep yourself afloat. But the reason I make these videos for YouTube is because I just love it so much. And I've met so many people that I otherwise would not have met over the years, formed so many good friendships, and had so many unusual experiences that now just make for the best stories. And it's pretty rare that you can come across that kind of interaction with not just the hardstyle scene, but also just the world at large, without having taken these silly risks making videos, I guess. Yeah, it's been really cool.
That makes sense, dude. That's really cool. Now tell us about the name of your platform, so the Slendy Show. Was that always your original name, or did you go by a different alias back in the day?
I think initially it was something along the lines of Slender the Man.
That's right, yeah.
Because that was just quite literally the email account that back in the day, your Gmail account was your YouTube channel name. I had to set it all up because I had to create the persona for the assignment, so that the university didn't think it was me interviewing myself.
That's funny.
But it was.
That's great.
So yeah, that's kind of the reason behind the whole Slenderman outfit. But the Slendy brand has kind of stuck, and it's been a nice way to sort of differentiate that character from, I guess, my regular life as well, because funnily enough, I do other things every now and then, even though I do love a cheeky rave to the grave. So
totally, dude. And when did you realize that you had a platform, that you had a show going on, and where you could, I guess, come up with all these comedy skits, different music videos and whatnot?
It's a really good question. I think that the first sort of brush I had with some genuine recognition was maybe DEF CON 2014, where I made an after movie with a GoPro, and it was just like a pretty average after movie, but people just loved seeing themselves in the after movie.
Absolutely.
Because it was a different take from the high produced, high quality, sort of craziest costumes, best looking people at the festival. Like, for the first time in a long time, people who were just regular punters were seeing themselves on YouTube partying at their favorite festival. And that video actually got shared by Frontliner himself back in the day, because I used one of his tracks in the after movie. And that's when it started to kind of pick up a little bit, and I realized I could get some support from the artists themselves. So I started reaching out to artists and saying, hey, like, I love the new track that you've released. I'd love to produce a video on it. Like, is that all right? And then, of course, most of the time, in fact, all of the time, they would say yes. And I'd produce a video and often get shares from the likes of Frontliner again, Tatanka was another one. Code Black as well, Tone Shifters.
Awesome.
Getting some support and some love from the Australian lads. So, yeah, it was really great to see the artists themselves appreciate that kind of... just the on-the-ground representation for a change. It wasn't sort of coming from Q-Dance. It wasn't coming from any promoters. It was just literally coming from a fan saying, this is the impact your music has on us, and I want to share that with other people so that they can also feel the feels that I'm currently feeling. So,
yeah, that makes sense. No, that's really good, man. Now tell us a little bit about you personally. So before the Slendy Show, what got you into the hard dance scene, or how did you discover the harder styles? Tell me about that.
So this is also a funny story. I don't know how much people will remember back in the day playing games like Counter-Strike on Steam, where you would have to join a server, and then the owner of that server, you would have to automatically download all their sound presets, all of their like kill streak sound effects and things like that. And I, for some reason, came out of playing a few games of Counter-Strike when I was like 12, 13. Go back to my Windows Media Manager, Media Player, and I've got Showtech, Colors of the Harder Stars, Headhunters, Rock Civilization, Brendan Hart, One Blade sitting there. Because
all the classics.
All the classics, because that's what this guy was playing when you went on like a kill streak in the Counter-Strike game. And I listened to this and I was like, oh, this slaps. So I just kind of dove down that rabbit hole, did the classic LimeWire search for hardstyle and saw what came up, and then just kind of got into the scene from there, started to discover more and more of the music, and then also a couple of like-minded people. One of my good family friends at the time had also heard of Headhunters back in the day, and when we both kind of bonded over the fact that Rock Civilization was like such a great track, we went, there's something here, there's something about this music that's a little bit different from all the other stuff we'd been listening to. And I'd grown up listening to predominantly sort of electronic music, but in the more pop vein. Like I still love Bomb Funk MC, and even like the old school Darude and stuff for nice. Those kind of trancey vibes. But yeah, when I started to hear those initial tracks from the Windows Media Player, and then also even discover a little bit of hard trance in the form of Oldskool DJ Dean, I loved those tracks, and there was just something about it that hooked me, and I from there pretty much was hooked on hardstyle from like 13 years old. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, right. So who was your favorite maybe at the time? Did you have like a specific artist or maybe a tempo range? Did you prefer the hardcore or the slower stuff?
So definitely I was all euphoric hardstyle in the beginning. I wanted melodies, I wanted uplifting vocals. So yeah, my early days were listening to like Frontliner, old school Heady, Brennan Hart, Wasted Penguins. So that really brought me into the scene because I just, for some reason, I loved the cheesy stuff back then. I think today it still has such nostalgia when you listen to like old cheesy euphoric hardstyle. It really gets you. And then I think the important thing about evolving tastes was you can't really appreciate the more sort of, I guess, industrial styles of music that we listen to, the harder, darker stuff, when you're just listening in headphones or you're listening in the car. So that for me, I never used to like it. But when I went to festivals, Bass Control, Def Con back in the day, and you kind of walk past Blue Stage and Black Stage, RIP, and you hear, for me, I remember it was Evil Activities at the time on the Black Stage in, say, like 2013 Def Con. Walking past and like feeling the vibe of the crowd, feeling the energy coming from that hardcore set that drew me in and drew me into wanting to listen to more of that genre. And that's how I kind of fell in love with that music. And I think that still today, that's the one thing that resonated with me from a video making perspective, was that it's an experiential dimension to falling in love with this music. Like if you just kind of harass a mate and say, listen to this banger, it's not the same as giving someone an experience at a festival or a funny video or something that makes them laugh and makes them listen to a new track. And that's what I really took away from my evolving tastes. And now I listen to pretty much anything, like even glorified construction noises. I'll walk past a construction site and go, oh man, what a banger.
That's up-tempo.
Yeah, legit, right?
That's funny. Yeah, right. No, I agree with you, man. That's really interesting because I feel that the harder styles, there's just something about hearing it on a big system, you know? Big speakers and whatnot, just getting the full like kick drums coming through. It's just a whole new experience than, you know, recommending it to a mate, as you said, and just being like, pop this on through your headphones. It just doesn't do it justice half the time, hey? Yeah,
totally. And that was the biggest thing for me in turning my euphoric hard style, which is probably more easy listening, into the darker, dirtier stuff that you'd probably see populates a lot of my videos these days. But yeah, I'm still a sucker for a good melody. I still think that a good melody kind of reigns supreme. So,
awesome, dude. Yeah. Love to hear. On that note, what do you think of Cephas? Because at the moment, I am obsessed with Cephas.
I think everyone's obsessed with Cephas.
Oh, good.
That's just it's pretty much a trope now of our scene that Cephas is a bit of a god and a bit of a whiz.
Absolutely.
But it's really funny that like sort of one of the first songs I heard of Cephas was LSD Problem. And I remember dancing to it at like the old University of Sydney Muzzsock meetups,
right.
Which was the fake society I created just because we wanted to have a laugh and like hijack a stall at O Week.
That's great.
And it was really interesting to hear that last year when I think I was at Midnight Mafia and I chatted to Pete from HSU, he said to me, were it not for seeing you like dance to that song and listen to that track, you know, I would never have discovered Cephas.
Wow.
He would not have toured Australia.
Yeah.
That kind of impact has flowed on, and I think that it's really cool to now have everyone recognize a talent like Cephas, because he also mixes, like I said, a good melody at heart. He's a musician. He's a classical pianist, well trained and like knows his craft. And even though he's putting a donk behind a lot of things, I still think that it makes a difference to have that musicianship in the craft of the actual track making. So that to me is what separates him from a lot of other producers, and probably why he's gained such a big following and his tracks have such an impact.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, moving on with the show, I've got some questions for you.
Let's do it.
From the dedicated community. So the first question comes from Excuse me. There we go. Kelvin Krishna, and he would like to know what is your favorite moment at a festival, or what's the favorite festival that you've attended?
Okay, so my favorite moment at a festival, I think it's hard to go past DEF CON Netherlands, 2018. So that was my first DEF CON in the Netherlands, and
cool.
it was just such an unbelievable experience, pretty much unlike any other festival I've ever attended. And as part of that, I got to help out on the official Q-Dance live stream.
Oh, wow.
And I hosted the Speed Cornflakes Breakfast of Champions.
Wow.
So... yeah, I don't know if you've seen this, but...
I haven't. Tell me a bit about that.
Okay, so, like, this is my favorite festival moment purely because it's literally 10 a.m. in the morning. Everyone has woken up. This is day 3 of DEF CON as well. So we've been partying for 3 days straight, basically. And the first thing we have is a terracore set.
Oh, wow.
Set with, like, everyone sitting down at long tables, eating breakfast. So what ended up resulting was throwing cornflakes on my head, having milk poured on me. And mind you, this is literally at 10 a.m., right? So I still have the rest of the festival to go.
Your head's probably still buzzing too. You're just like, ah.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, like, you're still, you're basically just waking up, but you have terracore blasting, pyro happening, lasers kicking about. And meanwhile, I'm covered in milk and cornflakes, and I'm literally live streaming to the entire world, and just like having the best possible time, dancing on tables, rolling around. It was unlike anything else. I honestly will remember that forever, just because it was one of those moments where you went, yes, this is only the kind of thing that can happen at a music festival. It does not happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
Anywhere else on earth.
Makes sense, dude. Absolutely. Next question. This one comes from Adam, and a similar question to the last one, but he would like to know, what is your favorite moment in your raving career?
So aside from that particular one, I guess, which is more of a favorite moment at a festival, one of the best messages I received lately actually was from a guy who said that he is now 8 months clean, 8 months sober.
Oh, awesome.
After being inspired from my videos just to have fun at a festival without drugs, without alcohol. He's sent me a really heartwarming message, basically letting me know that I showed him that it was possible to have a great time and you didn't have to sacrifice anything. You just had an awesome time with your mates, enjoyed the music, fell in love with the scene, and that's all the energy he needed to get clean and fix himself up. So
wow, that's awesome, bro.
Such an awesome message to receive, and that's probably one of my favorite moments, I guess, outside a music festival as well.
Right. Do messages like that keep you going, man? Do they get you more motivated and inspired?
Definitely. I think that, like I said earlier, it's the impact on the scene and the wider community that I don't even realize sometimes, because at the end of the day, I don't think I'm doing anything particularly special. I think that I'm just putting some silly videos out there and, there's giving people a laugh. But to some people, it is more than that. It
means the world, yeah.
Yeah, it genuinely helps them dive deep into the rabbit hole as well, discover new music passions, discover new friends as well through the scene, and then also dig themselves out of some pretty dark places, which obviously we all have to battle with at some point. So yeah, it's really nice to get those kind of messages of encouragement. It certainly does keep you going, yeah.
Awesome, dude. Great to hear. This next question is a bit of a casual, funny question. It's from Peter. Is $50 for a Kandy bracelet too much money?
Definitely, bro. Like, chicks hand that shit out for free.
That's true, eh? Yeah.
If you're paying $50 for a Kandy bracelet, you just need to find a Kandy girl at any event, and you will get 10 of those and save yourself $500. Right. So, yeah.
What if, I don't know, let's say like some crazy artist, or like, let's say it was like a fashion brand. Would you pay $50 for that Kandy bracelet?
So like a Gucci Kandy bracelet?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, look, I've never been a brand person, to be honest. So like, as you probably can gather from the ridiculous outfits I wear, I much rather wear something that is objective garbage than something that's a brand name. So possibly not for me, but I could totally see that catching on. Like, people have an entire arm of Gucci candy, and it costs more than, the festival itself. So
yeah, people rock up, be like, is that a regular candy? No, mate, Gucci candy.
Yeah. I can totally see it catching on. There's a market there for Gucci. So
yeah, right, dude. And next question, this one comes from Steve. He would like to know, is the Slendy Outfit coming back anytime soon?
Ooh, Possibly, but no plans at this stage to bring it back. I felt like as part of the channel growing and me sort of getting out of my comfort zone was initially the purpose of the costume was to hide a little bit, to hide my identity, to sort of give myself a barrier between the outside world and then the silly buggers that I was doing. But I feel like once I moved on from that, there was less of a need to bring that suit and that costume back because I was comfortable in my own skin and I was comfortable being a bit crazy. So no plans to bring it back, but it could make an appearance in a skit every now and then. I think that's probably its best chance.
Makes sense, yeah. Dude. That's fair enough. Now, moving forward with the show, so I have one more question for you, and this one's from me personally. Tell me, you have an experience and background in marketing, that's right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, so you do that, you were saying a bit earlier, for your day job, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I work in digital marketing, and I have now for close to sort of 7 odd years.
Cool. Yeah. And were you doing that before the whole Slendy Show came about?
No, definitely not. So at uni, I studied media communications and law. So It was kind of like in the ballpark of media communications, content creation, video production. That is the sort of thing that we dealt with. But at the same time, it was very much in theory back then. So I'm learning about things like semiotic theory and not necessarily creating viral videos for YouTube. That's just not a thing that's taught in universities.
Because I was going to ask, like, did that play a big part in you building your community and your channel and whatnot? Did that marketing experience aid you in just growing your whole brand?
I think that it definitely does help, particularly in sort of the past few years when I've had a really good handle on the impact of algorithms for various social platforms and how to grow organically rather than just using sort of paid techniques. So I think that has definitely given me a hand. But the funny thing is, the flip side is that the YouTube has helped me get jobs and has helped me find a foothold in marketing because in the marketing world, video marketing in particular and YouTube marketing is a bit of kind of a nebulous space and not many people know how to deal with it. So when I can sort of come to clients and say, hey, I have a big track record of developing communities online, particularly this is what I've done for a personal brand, I can do this for your brand, then that has been really helpful in allowing me to find strategies to help others with their marketing. Right.
Yeah. That's really interesting, man. And if you, or to someone starting out a new YouTube channel or maybe even Facebook and Instagram, do you have any advice for new people starting out, maybe what they can do to help grow their following maybe a little bit quicker?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, so there's a couple of techie things that you can look into. So some on-platform sort of SEO for things like YouTube. Not many people know that the tags that you put in videos do make a difference. And you can also download extensions, free extensions like TubeBuddy, which will give you sort of search data for the queries that are going into the YouTube search engine so that you can optimize your video descriptions, your titles, and your metadata. And then also little cheeky things like the YouTube crawler will always crawl the file name of your video, the thumbnail name. So lining that up with keywords as well. So there's those kind of like little techie SEO things you can look into. But I think the biggest piece of practical advice is at the beginning, it's super tough. You will be discouraged by the amount of followers you have. You'll be discouraged by the amount of views you get. You need to push through that and you need to find the passion there. If I had stopped when I made 3 videos and like I said, they got 3,000 views, but then for the next 6 months, I think that I struggled to get, 5,000 views in total after that. If I had stopped, then I would not be in the situation that I am now, where I can happily look back on all the memories I've created through countless YouTube adventures and the countless good times that have formed as part of that. So I think that's where most people fail, is that early hill that they have to climb and how easy it is to get discouraged there. So find your own processes and find your own passions so that you can build in that concept of it's not work, it's actually just a bit of fun. And that's why I think for me, it always has just been a bit of fun. So finding that balance is super crucial to succeeding long term, I think.
Right. And then that'll help, I guess, to appreciate that whole journey and the whole growth process, hey?
Definitely. So, yeah, I love looking back at the old videos that I've made. Some of them are even kind of portrait, not even filling up the full YouTube screen, filmed on an iPad. So it's like pretty terrible, but you can see how far you've come and created some awesome after movies, some highly interactive stuff like Kick Roll Hero, and some cool parodies along the way. So yeah, it's cool seeing that evolution of content.
Awesome, dude. Now, wrapping up towards the end of the show, tell me, 2020, what do you have planned for the rest of the year besides your track with Red Hot?
So, the track with Red Hot is definitely on the books. Also sort of fine-tuning a track with Decimate.
Cool.
That was previewed in the 100K live stream.
Sick.
So, keen to get that out there as well. I think that the goal for me is just finding a few other bits and pieces of content that I can put out that are a little bit unique, a little bit different, whilst we wait for festivals to come back. So to give you an example, one thing that I want to do is there's so many ghost producers on Fiverr, some as low as like $15.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hire a $15 ghost producer and just see if they can make me a Rebellion track, for example.
Wow, yeah, right.
And just see how terrible they are at it. I think that could be quite funny. So,
yeah, right. And what, do a video of it? Or?
Yeah. So kind of like, go through the process, getting feedback of the track, maybe even give them some vocals and things like that. Just because it's worthwhile just having a browse of some of the freelance sort of ghost producing services, some of which are literally that cheap. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious to see how good is a $15 ghost producer, right? So
right, that makes sense. That's pretty interesting, dude. And anything special planned for Halloween coming up?
I love a good dress-up party, as those who watch the channel probably know. So hopefully I'll be able to get together in some capacity with a small group of friends and have a bit of a Halloween celebration. But other than that, I guess no real plans for content outside. Any spontaneous things that I might be able to tee up with. Elena Van Wyck is a Dutch YouTuber in the festival and party scene as well. She loves Halloween and has been like doing a whole bunch of spooky collaborations and has spoken to me about possibly doing something. So we'll see if we can tee one up, but it might be difficult because obviously we are on other sides of the planet. So,
yeah, right. That's fair enough, dude. Now, I like to give all my guests the opportunity to do any shout outs or to just let the community know if you got something planned, something to look forward to. So feel free, man. Go ahead, give some shout outs or let us know if you got something that we should look forward to from you.
Yeah, cool. Okay. I guess the first shout out, I'm not sure which camera to deliver this to, but would to be to everyone who's ever taken the time to watch one of my videos, to spend a bit of time browsing the channel and engaging, commenting, liking, sharing. You guys are absolutely the foundation of everything that I do and the reason why I love doing it so much. So thank you all. As I mentioned previously, I love meeting you at events and I hope to be partying with you again sometime soon. So really looking forward to getting our community back together, celebrating the good times, and a huge shout out to everyone who watches for making this possible. Basically, I would not be in this situation without your support. So that's my number one shout out. And
awesome.
Yeah. And I guess a secondary shout out to everyone sort of on my side who has helped me along the way, filming videos, coming up with scripts, making tracks. So these guys and girls know who they are. Special mention to lads like Jeremiah, who has helped me film and edit and just muck around in so many videos in the past. And then also Charles, who helped tee up the DEF CON overseas Netherlands experience. So a couple of special shout outs to those lads. And yeah, it's, I think, pretty much only up and up from here. So keep letting me know if you've got ideas for content. Keep letting me know what you want to see on the channel and getting around it and supporting it. And I will keep producing videos for you all. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. That's Slendy Harrison, everyone. Please check out his YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, all the socials. And you won't be disappointed. You'll have a good laugh and find some new beats, won't you?
Absolutely.
Cheers, dude. Cheers for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Take care.